In the huddle. That's right. It's time to move on to the next topic here. And it's going down. This is one of my favorite topics here because we smell football. Zach, if you want to kick us off, go right ahead.
Now, do you want the bold prediction first or do you want the Super Bowl prediction first? Okay.
Bold prediction first.
So I actually have two bold predictions that kind of not really intertwine, but they do have a little bit to do with each other. The first one is this. I think this is going to be Bill Belichick's last season as the head coach / GM of the New England Patriots. And I'm not saying he's going to be fired, but I just think there are plenty of signals here that, okay, Bill Belichick and the Patriots, it might just be best for them to split, because I look at this Patriot team, guys. I think it could be one of their worst teams in recent memory. I think they're going to win 6 or 7 games. My expectations for the Patriots aren't too high. I think they're one of the 5 to 10 least talented rosters in the NFL. And even though Belichick did a great job coaching them up, getting them to the playoffs last year, Josh McDaniels had a lot to do with that too, helping with the development of Mac Jones, Matt Patricia, and Joe Judge coaching offense. I just am out on the Patriots. And I even think Robert Kraft, like, if he really wants to do the best thing for his guy, Bill Belichick, and really keep his legacy elite, I think the best move might just be to let him go sooner rather than later. And again, I'm not expecting Bill Belichick to be fired on Black Monday. I think him and the Patriots, kind of like Sean Payton and the Saints a little bit, come to just a mutual agreement, like, okay, the end is near. Bill Belichick, this will be his last year in New England. And the intertwined bold prediction, I think sometime in the middle of the season, Tom Brady is just going to leave the Bucs for about 2-3 weeks, take a nice family vacation. I'm kind of worried about him, not going to lie. He's 45 years old. And just because you still play in the NFL, I think that it's tough. The NFL and professional sports are not made for 45-year-old dads to play in. They're supposed to have a family life at this age. And we have heard all the rumors about Tom Brady and Giselle. She left the family compound. Things could be rough. That press conference, it really looked to me that Brady kind of just looked like a normal human. He was fazed by everything going on in his personal life. And I think there's a chance that he could just take a 3 to 4 month break 4-week break during the season, kind of like he did during training camp. And if that happens, I'm pretty worried for the Buccaneers. I'm not going to
lie. Coach, you want to go ahead?
I go. So I have my two. My bold prediction. My two of my bold predictions. I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to get fired midseason, and I believe that Trey Lance and the Niners will win the NFC West this season.
Okay. Any explanation?
I have one more, but I'll let you guys go.
Yeah. Any explanation?
Okay, so yeah, so as for Kings Kingsbury, this is about to be his 4th season in Arizona. I just feel like this guy just can never go over the hump. As in, like, he will start off hot, then out of nowhere, come like middle of the season towards the end, he finished cold. And I just think right now this is his last strike. And I believe, them not having D-Hop for the first 6 games of the season, it's going to dictate everything. And I don't trust Kyler Murray to kind of lead this offense on his own. You feel me? I just feel like, D-Hop will, not having D-Hop will play a big pivotal role for this Arizona offense. Marquise Brown not going to do nothing. I'll be honest with you. You saw what he did in Baltimore. Despite him being reunited back with Kyler Murray, I don't know. I just don't like Marquise Brown. He's not a D-Hop. Point and simple. So from there, I just think, Cliff Kingsbury might get fired midseason. The reason why I chose the Trey Lance and the Niners to win the division, I don't know, it's something about Trey Lance. I just felt like, we kind of sleeping on him and, by Kyle Shanahan and, crew, decide to go with him as the starting quarterback. I just felt like, he will do whatever it takes to win the division. I think that the Rams kind of lost the beat, especially on the defensive side of the ball, losing Von Miller, not having that experience anymore. Arizona, I'm just not buying it, just not buying into Arizona system, and Seattle just in a rebuilding stage. So I trust Trey Lance and the Niners to win the NFC West.
That's a good, even though I don't know all about Cliff Kingsbury getting fired, I think the way how you intertwined that really made sense because it was 2 divisions. It was in the same division. So
right.
Like by you saying that the Cardinals are going to be bad and the Seahawks going to be bad, the 49ers only have to worry about the Rams. So they right there. So it kind of intertwines. I say for me, my bold prediction, I have one for right now. And that is the Lions will make the playoffs. That's my bold prediction. I think when you have a guy like Dan Campbell, he's a guy that a player can relate to. That's why they gravitate to him so much. They didn't show that energy with Matt Patricia. Has he even played in the NFL? That's not a guy. I don't think he played in the NFL. So having a guy that played in the league, somebody that you could relate to, and somebody as passionate as Dan Campbell is, he's the type of guy that will get the best out of this unit. And also, when you're Matt Patricia and you never played in the NFL, and you're bringing that Bill Belichick type of motto and attitude with no credibility or clout, it's not going to end well. So Dan Campbell will be the guy that will lead this team to the playoffs. And right there will probably be coach of the year. That probably might book his ticket to being coach of the year too, as well.
Can I say something real quick about Dan Campbell? I think when I think of Dan Campbell, I think of a guy, like if you were to take the most Hollywood trait from the 5 most famous high school football coaches in movies and just combine them, that's Dan Campbell. Like this guy is straight out of a football movie. He really knows how to motivate his players. And I think he's doing a good job building a program in Detroit. I think they're about a 7-win team. I don't know if they're a playoff team, but I definitely think they'll be improved.
For me, I think my biggest bold take, I only have like one real bold take, really. I'll keep hammering this. I go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it. The New York Jets will have a winning record this season. I think their team, when you talk about how many playmakers they had on offense, I can't tell you the last time the Jets had this many playmakers on offense in a very long time. Their talent is something I'm really amazed by, just based upon how they drafted their team. If you all know the New York Jets organization, they don't draft talented players often. And when they do, they usually do it in bulk. And that's exactly what happened this past offseason when they drafted all these guys. Not even talking about offense. I'm a big fan of Clemens on defense, too. He kind of amazed me this preseason on what he can do. And I'm not saying, preseason, you all know this is second string, third stringers, but he's been really outstanding in that offseason. I think he's going to really shock a lot of people coming into this season. I think when you look at what the Jets and the Jets are, right, and what their schedule is commanding. Joe Flacco playing the first 4 games. He needs to just get the ball to his playmakers. We're not saying go out there and win us a game. Get the ball to the playmakers. Get the ball to the guys who are going to be getting the yardage, short plays, running plays a lot, short passes. Get it to those guys so that they could get the run after they catch. They get those yards and rack them up as each possession goes down. It goes as it goes. And I think, this team reminds me a lot of the Bengals from last season. The Bengals had one of the toughest schedules in the NFL last year. No one anticipated them to go 10-7. No one anticipated them to win the division. And that's something that they wind up doing and then go into the Super Bowl. And I think this Jets team is something similar. And I think they're going to do that. This is the first year, I believe, in recent memory that the Jets defense is fully healthy. They're all ready to go for week 1. That's something we haven't had in a couple seasons. So that's something I'm really excited about. And I'm high on this Jets team. So my big bold take is the Jets will finish the season with a winning record.
Zay, let me say this about the Jets. It's obviously a huge year for Zach Wilson, right? I think that after this season, on January 1st, we're going to sit here on In the Huddle and we're going to know whether he's the future franchise quarterback for this team or not. And I think the injury is tough. Missing the first 3 games is hard and missing all that practice time. But I'll say this. I agree with you 100%. Outside the quarterback and the head coach, I look at the rest of this roster, and I think it's ready to win. The Jets have never seen talent like this in a really long time. And I do think if Zach Wilson and Robert Saleh, if they don't work out, Joe Douglas has to be aggressive next offseason. And maybe there's a world where the Jets next offseason are the next Denver Broncos, where they're a really talented team, but they're trying to bring in that quarterback and that next head coach. And I'll give you guys a name. I don't think it's going to happen, but just keep it in the back of your mind. I'm not 100% sure that Josh McDaniels 100% buys into Derek Carr as the future franchise quarterback of the Raiders, and I think he would be a perfect fit coming over to the Jets if things don't work out with Zach Wilson this season.
I think you just said a bold take without even saying one. Hey, that was a bold statement right there. Zach, you're getting all the punches in today. I mean, for those of y'all that don't know, Zay and Zach is Jets fans. For those of y'all watching the show, Coach, I don't know what Coach be doing. Coach, you be repping Chiefs, you be repping all over the place, bro. You rep all 32, bro, to be honest with you. But my bold statement right now, I have one more, and I'm done with this one for myself. I'm going the Eagles and the Chargers will both make championship Sunday. I'm going with both of them to make championship Sunday, conference Sunday, or title Sunday, however. And the reason why I say so, let's start off with the Chargers. For me, it never was about can the Chargers put up points. We all know easily they could put up 30. It was about, can they stop somebody and can they learn how to win? Right? They've been losing a lot lately. Right? And they never learned how to win. And that's why last year, in situations like the last game, they lose a game they're supposed to win because they don't know how to win. Now, I think, how do you learn how to win? Experience, more talent, and guys that already won or that are good at their craft. Guys like Kyle Van Noy, guys like Khalil Mack, good at his craft. Guys like J.C. Jackson, one of the best cornerbacks in the league on the defense. So I think because they have that collection of talent, listen, Phillip Rivers got this team to an AFC Championship game and got this team to a playoffs a couple times. There's no reason in the world that Justin Herbert can't do the same thing. Justin Herbert, no disrespect to Phillip Rivers, Hall of Famer potentially, but Justin Herbert is a more talented and gifted quarterback than Phillip Rivers. There's no reason in the world why Justin Herbert cannot take this talented roster, one of the best rosters of the Chargers history, and take this team to the promised land or close to the promised land. So that's why I got the Chargers. And for the Eagles, I think they're a very underrated team. Zach always say, which team in the NFC outside of the Rams, outside the Buccaneers, is going to prove a point and show that they are here too. And I think that's the Eagles. What they building defensively, one of the best units in the league. Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to take another step. AJ Brown, well, you're showing me that you want to win, oh, damn it. So, okay, go out there and win. And I think they will, and I think they will make the conference championship. So those are my bold predictions. Chargers and Eagles in the
last bold take. Last bold take for me. You just reminded me. You just reminded me as you were speaking about that. I think the Minnesota Vikings go to the NFC Championship this year. I think the gatekeepers, the Green Bay Packers, are a team that they've been holding them back for many, many years. And I think this is the year that they overstep them into going further. I think if the Minnesota Vikings would have faced the 49ers in that playoff game, the Vikings would have beat the 49ers correctly. I think when you talk about Dalvin Cook, you talk about Justin Jefferson, you talk about Adam Thielen, who's arguably been one of the best red zone targets in the NFL the last two seasons, combining for 24 touchdowns the last 2 years. That's something that that's something that's only thriving in offense. You know, they have an underrated receiver. Not many like him, but I like KJ Osborne. I think he's somebody who can move. But that offense is stout, and I don't like Kirk Cousins. Everyone on this show absolutely knows Kirk Cousins is not the quarterback of choice for me, but he has too many weapons on that team to them not to thrive. And I think with the Green Bay Packers taking a step back offensively, not getting the guys they need to really pop for that offense, for Aaron Rodgers particularly, I think the Vikings are primed to overstep the Packers, take that division, and also take them to an NFC Championship.
Yeah, Zay, I know you've been on the Vikings to win the NFC North for really the whole summer, and we'll see what happens. I don't think it's crazy. I think the Vikings are going to be a playoff team, but I'll say this about Kirk Cousins. If he's ever going to prove to us that he's better than an average quarterback that just puts up great numbers, he has to win this year. I think it's a huge year for him, and we'll see what him and Kevin O'Connell could do. But one more bold prediction for you guys, and then we'll move on. I want to stay in the NFC. Coach said that he thinks Cliff Kingsbury is going to get fired mid-season. I have another team that I think that's going to happen to, and that's the Carolina Panthers. I think Matt Rule is the worst coach in the NFL, and that is really what makes the situation so bad. I think the weapons around Baker Mayfield are decent. I think the Panthers defense is underrated, and I think Matt Rule will either quit or get fired after 8 games, and he'll coach UCLA next year. And Ben McAdoo moves into the head coaching job, and the Panthers immediately improve. They become better, and I think they'll be a better team later in the season than early.
Wait,
Zach,
go ahead, Coach. Quick question, Zach. Where do you get that report that he might go to UCLA?
No, I just made that up.
He made that up. He got you. He's giving us the whole nine.
I'm not a Chip Kelly guy.
Okay. I was about to say Chip Kelly is getting a head coaching gig somewhere else I didn't know about.
No, I think
I know it ain't the NFL.
I think he's getting fired.